If you're a rapper that's struggling, I've got some good news for you. You're not alone. And there's nothing special or unique, most likely, about your struggles that every other rapper has had to go through, regardless if it's an Eminem or a Jay-Z or whoever. At some point in time, we all had to be new at something, which means we was not skilled at it, which means we had to learn a lot. So if you're struggling, just know, first off, you're not alone and there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally normal. Second of all, I want to share with you a few pieces of advice that I think you may find encouraging. Regardless of what you're struggling with, likely one of the things that I'm going to mention in this video is going to hit at home with you, and I think that you will be helped by it immensely. Number one is the way that most rappers approach rapping is they focus on writing lyrics first, because that's what they understand, that's what makes sense to them, they know rhymes, they understand language. It only takes but a minute for them to realize that that does not sound so good over an instrumental for some reason. And that's because they haven't connected the dot quite yet that rap is like RAP, it's rhythm and poetry, it's music and writing. And so you're focusing on the writing thing, which is cool, that's important, very important as well, but you need to focus on the musical part of rapping as well, the rhythm part. And so focus on developing some basic ear training stuff like being able to hear beats, being able to lock your body onto the beat so your body is keeping count while you're rapping, and learning things like scatting and things of that nature. Like, these are things that are going to help you develop your rap flow tremendously. And until those things are developed, you're going to continue to struggle in that department. So really the thing you should focus on is focus on the musical element, developing your musical ears, if you will. And if you still need some guidance with that, there's two videos or two things I recommend that you check out. One video I did on establishing your rhythm. So it's going to teach you how to hear beats and music and explain what that is. And it's going to help you lock onto it with your ears and your body. That's very, very important. Anybody who wants to do anything in music, that's the first thing you should learn right there. Number two is you need to build upon that musical foundation that we call rhythm and start learning how to scat. And scatting is a multi-tool that we use in rap. We use it to come up with really dope cadence ideas for our rap flows and stuff. We use it to come up with hooks, but we also use it for what I call the third pillar of rapping, which is engineering, which is problem solving. So when you're trying to get your lyrics to work with a cadence perfectly, but they're not quite working together, a lot of times we lean on the scatting so we can change things about a cadence in many different ways to make it fit closer with how our lyrics are supposed to be. So a lot of people don't realize that rappers are musicians. It's just not obvious because we are the instrument. So think about any other instrument, like a guitar, for an example, or some drums. They don't have any words that go with them. It's just notes that they're playing on their instrument. That's essentially what we do with scatting. We're not saying real words. We're not freestyling, saying real words. We're making sounds with our mouth to create music. So I'll give you a quick example playing this beat that I made called Spaced Out. I'm just gonna scat a little bit over it. None of this is premeditated at all. All right, check it out. Blast the phone, the break, and then you're popping. I don't pass on a braid, you know, popping. Hey, up in the cat, up in the raid, hip in the coppin', whoop in the soul. I'm in the rat, I'm in the cat, hop in the pocket, tip in the broccoli, sip in the pole, hip in the grape and the eep in your pole. Hop in the rhymes to lip in your pay, I'm lipping the cons to lip in your flow. Hop up a leap a top and no breaking, hop a top of the flow, hop in the reap a top and no see the rhyme, low Peter Fireman, let's go. I did say some real words there at the end, but that's just scatting. And so the better you get at that, the more fluent you will be with your rap flow and less boxed in you will be to any cadence, because you could take any cadence and tweak it and change it a little bit to make it do what you need it to do to make it work better with your lyrics. So I have a free rap course that I created right here on YouTube. It's called 5 Minutes to a Better Rap Flow. And it's gonna go over a lot of these basic things I'm talking about right now, and it even gets into scatting as well. So make sure you check that out if you're new to rapping and you're trying to build up those musical chops. Another thing a lot of people struggle with when it comes to rapping is songwriting. A lot of people struggle with finishing songs or getting lost while they're writing a song, or not knowing where to take a song, not knowing really how to approach it in the first place. A lot of rappers, they'll just write down the first line that comes to mind, and then they'll just kind of let the rhyme dictate the direction of the song. So whatever their rhyme is, whatever the next rhyme is they think of, they allow that to change the direction of the song or dictate the direction if there wasn't a direction at all in the first place. And so a few things that I recommend with that is it's best to have some type of game plan in mind before you start writing lyrics down. Like, have an idea of what the vision is for the song. Like, what ideas come to mind when you listen to this instrumental that you're rapping over? That's assuming that you are writing to a beat. A lot of people don't write to beats, and that's not necessarily a mistake, but it can cause problems later down the line when you're trying to rap over an instrumental. So if that's you, then I recommend using like a free metronome and write to a certain tempo. Just pick a tempo and write to it, and at least you know it's structured musically that way. And you can literally Google metronome, and Google has a built-in metronome on there, and you just select the tempo and it'll just go to each beat, and you just kind of use that to structure your lyrics to the beats and stuff like that. But going back to songwriting, it helps to have a plan while you're writing a song. I think of songwriting almost like driving a car. Typically, you don't jump into the car unless you have a destination. It helps to have a little bit of game planning that goes into songwriting. That way, at the game planning stage, you can kick around all these different creative ideas. You can think of different ways you could approach the song. Like I always use the example, like if you're writing a song about a bad breakup, do you start verse 1 with talking about how your heart got broke? Or do you start verse 1 with like you trying to build up the courage to ask the girl out, and then she eventually breaks your heart somewhere else in the song? You get what I'm saying? Like if you brainstorm, you can flip all those ideas around freely because you're not committed to any lyrics yet. You haven't boxed yourself into something that you've already written down. So you can think creatively of how you can spin things and attack that song from a creative angle. That's why I prefer planning things out first, and then I'll typically focus on trying to knock out that hook first. Because if I knock out the hook to the song, I've already got almost half the song knocked out, because a hook typically repeats 2 to 3 times throughout a song. So that's how I like to gain momentum very quickly when I'm approaching the songwriting process, and that prevents me from getting stuck because I have direction. So that way, while I'm writing the song, if I let a rhyme take me off course, I'll be able to realize it because I know, oh, this is the direction we're supposed to be going in, not this direction. And I highly recommend a video I did recently that breaks down the process of writing lyrics, showing you a behind the scenes look at all the different things that us rappers are considering when we're deciding on what that next line is that we're about to write, because it's like playing chess and you're being very mindful of the next move you make, how it's going to affect the moves after that. And I'll post links to everything that I'm mentioning in this video in the video description below. And another big thing a lot of people struggle with is delivery. They don't like the way they sound. They don't like the way their rap voice is, or they don't like the emotions and stuff, or the lack of emotions that are in their recordings. This is so normal. First of all, a lot of us just don't like the way we sound, period. I know I've certainly fallen in that category as well. I'm hypercritical to how I sound. I'll probably even play this back and like, ugh, don't like how I said that, yada, yada, yada. Whatever. It is what it is. You know, it's not too many of us rappers that are riding around in our cars blasting our own music. By the time we get done with a song, we've already spent so much time on it, we just want to move on to something else, you know? But it's common for you not to like your rap voice. But there are things that you can do to improve it. And I remember back in the day when we used to leave each other voicemail messages. Before I would send my voicemail message to like whoever I was calling, I'd always play it back. And oftentimes I would re-record it because I was like, I didn't like the way that sounded. And the same thing would happen with rapping. Like, one of the biggest ways to improve your delivery is just get busy recording and listening back to your recordings and thinking about, okay, what is it that's bothering me? What do I not like? And focus on trying to correct that. Like if it's your accent, if it's the way that you say certain words, if that's bothering you, then be mindful of that and now work on trying to adjust that and fix that. Just rapping has actually made me a better speaker. Like the way I speak right now is not the way I sounded like 15, 20 years ago when I first started rapping. And rapping in and of itself has improved that because I pay a lot of attention to the clarity of my speech and my enunciation and stuff like that. And so just getting more and more reps in, more hours recording yourself and then playing it back. It's different when you're just speaking like I'm speaking right now live. That's different from you recording it and then playing it back. It's a different experience. You're not feeling the resonance of your vocals in your body and your head while you're speaking. You're hearing it being played back to you. And so the way that the microphone records you may be different than how you hear yourself. And so there's like a lot that goes into that. And another practical thing too is try to find another rapper that you somewhat sound similar to as far as your tone of voice. Like if you have a deep voice, try to find another rapper that has like a deep voice that you think has a good delivery. And pick up on things that you like about what they're doing that you're not doing per se, and try to bring some of those things over and start applying those to your raps and see if you can improve upon that. Delivery is a tricky thing because we already have delivery typically in our speech. Like if you're upset, your voice, your emotions, the tone of your voice will typically change. We do that naturally. It's totally different when we're having to perform because it's contrived at that point. It's something premeditated. It's something that we planned out, and we're trying to make that feel natural. Like we're trying to reproduce what we already do naturally, but on the microphone, like on cue, and that's tricky. And that's something that is kind of hard to teach because everybody's voice is different, and a lot of it comes with experience. Like I'm saying, just recording yourself, playing it back over and over again, saying the same line in many different ways. Like if I said, I'm about to hit up the spot, right? I'm about to hit up the spot. Not a lot of energy in that. Just think about all the different ways I could say that. I'm about to hit up the spot. 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 Just think about all those different ways I just said that. There's so many different ways you could say any line that you're trying to rap. So get in the habit of experimenting with placing different amounts of emphasis on different words. Play around with different tones in your voice. Like sometimes I will exaggerate certain sounds. Like right now, this is my very natural sound, but I can exaggerate it and I can squeeze my voice a little bit if I want to get it a little bit more higher strain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like this one rap verse I wrote, I rap it like this. I'd be lying if I told you everything was good. I'm heavy laden, basically, let's get this understood. I ain't from the city and I ain't from the hood. I reside on the countryside of Georgia in the woods. You see how I just exaggerated the way that I sound. Now I'm going back to normal. I don't have as high of a sound. It's not as exaggerated. There's no distortion on my voice. Yeah. As you learn to mimic other things that you think sound dope, you learn how to use the vocal cords and the muscles in your throat and all that stuff that I don't even fully understand, to be honest with you, because it's invisible, but you'll learn how to use your vocal cords and stuff like that to create these different sounds and textures out of your voice. And once you start doing that, you'll be amazed at all the different sounds that you can actually get out of your voice. Like that distortion example I just gave you. I was like adding a little bit distortion, but I can go even further than that. I can go like this right here and almost to the point where I almost have a smoker's voice, right? Let me get a pack of Marlboro Menthol Light 100s in a box. But I got 2 really good videos that I did on how to improve your rap voice. One of them is talking about how to rap with more emotion, and the other one is talking about how to find your rap voice, how to discover your rap voice and try out different ranges to kind of discover what your sweet spot is. And one super important thing I want to leave you with is it's okay to suck, okay? It's okay to be inexperienced at something. One thing I don't want you to rob yourself of in this life, I hope you get really good at one thing, just once. Because once you do, you realize there's a process to getting good at anything. And you can replicate that process with anything it is that you want to get super skilled at. I was fortunate enough to learn this at a very young age, being in my school's competition band in 3rd grade. We went on to win like statewide competitions and stuff like that. But I had a music teacher that pushed us really hard, and I had to practice a lot, which means I failed a lot. And then that's what led to us winning competitions, like as a whole. And that was even more difficult because it's not like I just had to learn it. The whole class had to learn how to do this one thing at one time together. That's really difficult. And when I first picked up rapping, I realized that, oh, this isn't easy. Like, okay, I'll just apply what I learned from band into this, and I'll just keep putting in the reps. And so I hope you're not discouraged just because you're struggling with it. That's not a bad thing at all. Like, that's normal. The way you succeed at anything is you simply just don't give up after failing hundreds, thousands of times. Every time that you fail, you're incrementally getting better. You may not realize it, but each time that you fail, you're learning little micro lessons, improving things, tweaking things, getting sharper, getting a little bit sharper, a little bit sharper. And it's kind of like going to the gym. You can't just go to the gym for a couple months and and expect to come out looking like The Rock or somebody like that. Like, it's a lot of hard work that goes into that. There's also some other mitigating factors, if you know what I mean. But results take time. It takes discipline, it takes consistency, and you gotta be willing to suck for a while. Things are gonna be difficult at first. But as you get better, things get easier and it becomes a lot more fun. But don't think there's anything wrong with you just because you're struggling. That's totally normal. Like, I've done it before on this channel. I've posted like older songs from like Eminem, Jay-Z, even some of my stuff. And I'm letting you hear like the progression of even the greats like them, hearing where they started at early on and seeing where they're at now and how much they've grown. Like, we all, like, none of us came out of our mother's womb rapping like an Eminem. Eminem didn't come out of his mother's womb rapping like Eminem. You know, he talks openly about how much he studied other rappers. He has this one interview where he's talking about how the first time he heard Yoke the Joker by Naughty by Nature, from Tretch from Naughty by Nature, he couldn't even like write nothing for the whole summer because he was just so blown away with how much better that Tretch was than he was. And so likely what he was doing when he wasn't writing is he was likely studying. Like anytime he receives an award, he's always giving props to like 15, 20 other rappers because he's crediting them with how good he is. And so we have a lot that we can learn from each other. And so don't beat yourself up because you're struggling. That's totally normal. But I really hope that you'll persevere through it. If not with rap, something else. Just get really good at something and you'll learn, okay, it's just like playing a game, like a video game. You start off on level 1, even though their earlier levels are usually easier. As you advance, the levels continue to get more difficult, but you also continue to get better. You know, so I enjoy failing a little bit actually, because it means I'm challenging myself and I'm about to get better. So just know that you're not alone. There's a lot of other people on this channel just like you who are trying to grow. Feel free to interact with people in the comment section. There's a lot of videos I have here that can serve you greatly that I've made throughout the years. And check out some of the videos that I mentioned in this video. I think those will help you greatly. And I'm curious to know, let me know in the comment section below, like, what are some of your struggles? What do you feel like you struggle with the most? Drop them in the comment section below and let's get a discussion going. My name is ColeMize with ColeMizeStudios.com, where I strive to make you a better rapper now. And if you're trying to perfect your rap skills, make sure that you get yourself a free copy of my ebook, The #1 Fundamental to Rapping, via the link in the video description below. And subscribe to this channel for more straight to the point, no BS, how to rap video tutorials just like this one. And always remember, when it comes to rapping, there's no rules, there's only technique. Hey man, you see that subscribe button right there? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh, and don't forget the bell icon. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Hey, I know you see that like button, right? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. And look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, today I'm going